guys, welcome back to another movie review. Today we are reviewing Bob Marley, One Love. Yes, Bob Marley. This is the Bob Marley biopic movie, Bob Marley, One Love. And the lead role, Bob Marley himself, is actually played by Kingsley Ben-Adir. You may know him from things in the past, but he has been in things recently, such as Barbie. We also get Lashana Lynch in the movie as well, starring as Rita Marley, which is Bob Marley's wife. And yeah, I'm going to say right from the bat, for me, I didn't enjoy it as much as other people would. I think the performances and acting performances, I thought, in my opinion, were really good. Lashana Lynch especially, you know, was excellent, as she has been in her previous movies, obviously The Woman King and the No Time to Die James Bond franchise that she's worked on. But for this film, I feel like this was just a script that wasn't really in tandem, if that makes sense. The script for me felt a bit disjointed a little bit, and you know, it didn't really give me the flow sense of feeling that you'd expect like films to have. You know, it was telling the story in a different way round, which is similar to Rocket Man, not so much like Bohemian Rhapsody or stuff like that, where it's kind of like, you know, just going through. It was jumping back and forth between him as a child and then him obviously in the present day or as more of an adult, and it was jumping back and forth a little bit around, but it was to the point that when I was watching it, it was very messy. It just felt very chaotic at some points. It's hard to explain when you're like, you know, when you're saying your own words, obviously, but when you're watching it, you kind of get the vibe. You're like, whoa, where are we now? Where are we now? Let's just settle, you know. But I think when I always think about that kind of thing, obviously Rocket Man comes back to that, you know, in terms of in that movie, they were going back and forth, but it was done differently and it just was more settled. It's hard to explain, like I say. Acting performances though was really good. Kingsley Ben-Adir did really well as the lead character of Bob Marley, obviously, and we obviously got some like really shocking events. Like, I didn't realize how chaotic and mad and mental his life was, but also how recent it was. If you said to me before this, when was Bob Marley around, I would have said like the 50s, 40s, but it was actually like the 70s, like really recent, really. It wasn't as long ago as you would think. And also some of the like shots at the end of the film, which were like the real archived footage, obviously, from like the past, like of actually Bob Marley, was just mad. And I've learned so much. Like, I thought that he died like by getting shot, but you know, he didn't, spoiler, yeah, it was mad to like learn how he actually passed and the age he was. It was all just a shocking story, which, you know, you can't take that away from it. But I think film wise, I think they should have done without the whole like him as a kid thing or whatever, and just focused on that. It was a very political movie, but that is, I guess, Bob Marley as a person. You know, one of the things as well was like the music making aspect of it. It was very good. I believe they played Bob Marley music over the top of Kingsley Ben-Adir singing and miming, I guess, rather than things like Rocket Man, Town Edgerton completely re-recorded. So that's something that comes to my mind now whenever I'm watching these like biopic movies. Have they like used the original artists like work, or have they re-recorded stuff? And it sounded like Bob Marley to me. It would be very hard to obviously replicate that. But yeah, rating the movie then, Bob Marley, One Love. This would have been one of my most anticipated movies of the year. I'm not gonna lie, it was one that was, I think, delayed due to the strikes a couple of months ago, but we are here now and it is released in the UK. But my score, I actually gave it a 2.5 star. As I say, it was just up in the air at some points and I just couldn't settle when watching it, and that's just a real shame, you know. It just felt like the film was just going in one direction, then it was going back in this direction, then it was going in this direction, and it just felt like it was going left, right, center, left, right, center, left. It was just doing a lot, and it just wasn't an easy ride for me, if that makes sense. I'm reading online, that is a general consensus I get from most people who've watched the film. It does seem to be a bit all over the place, but I will say, you know, the acting performances were brilliant. They just had to deal with what they had to deal with, obviously, and you know, some of the green screen stuff was okay. You could tell a lot of it was green screen, you know, and maybe shot inside a studio or something, so that was, you know, wasn't done fabulously. But 2.5 star, Bob Marley. We've got the biopic movie now. It'll be interesting to watch her again in a couple of months or years time, just to see from a revisiting point of view, does it still hold up? But right now, I gave it a 2.5 star. So there you go, guys. There's my review of Bob Marley, One Love. Let me know your thoughts down below. Have you seen it? Are you going to see it? Of course. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.